Hello and welcome back. We are looking at Anita Desai's Games at Twilight, and the lecture title is Childhood Anxiety at Play in this short work. And through an analysis of childhood anxiety, we will also delve a little bit deeper into the structural issues that are complicating the lives of young adults, young children in this fiction. Okay, if you recall the earlier session, we stopped at the point when Ravi is looking forward to joining his family, and he looks at the world through the small vision that he's able to get from inside the shed. And he can see that the bougainvillea had lost its lividity, hung in dark bundles that quaked and twittered and seethed with masses of homing sparrows. So, through the small slit of vision from inside that dilapidated shed, Ravi is able to look at this scene, and he realizes, or the third person narrator tells us, that this tree, this flowering tree, had lost its lividity, its bright shine, and it hangs in dark bundles. And that's a very, very interesting description. First, let's look at the meaning of the word lividity. According to the dictionary, lividity means having a discolored bluish appearance caused by a bruise, congestion of blood vessels, strangulation, etc., as the face, flesh, hands, or nails. So it's a really, really disturbing image that is associated with this word lividity, and that's the word that Anita Desai offers to give us a picture of a flowering tree, and that's a massive contrast in terms of the idea that she wants to communicate. Bougainvilleas have really colorful flowers. It really has a spirited, cheerful image in front of homes, and here this word lividity kind of gives us a disturbing, subversive quality to it. And it's very interesting that this bluish appearance that this word lividity gives us or tells us is usually associated with strangulation as well. So association with a hurt, injury, violence are some of the ideas that this word lividity communicates to the readers. So, let's look at the other words that are there in that particular description. Quaked, to tremble, quaked, people quake in fear, twitter, chatter, seethed. The meaning of the word seethed is to be one of the meanings is to be in a state of agitation or excitement. And these words, especially the word seethed, used in the context of these homing sparrows, again gives us a very bizarre, eerie atmosphere to that bougainvillea tree. So the bougainvillea tree is usually associated with something that is beautiful, colorful, cheerful, and when these homing sparrows enter the tree, and it seems to kind of make the tree seethe with some kind of agitation. So again, the idea of nesting, or being at home is not a peaceful atmosphere for the inmates. There is agitation or excitement indoors, especially within a home, at least in the context of this particular short fiction of Anita Desai. And again, the dark bundles could refer to the beautiful flowers of the bougainvillea, which seems to hang together in clumps. So if we look at all these associations that are there in terms of the natural description of Anita Desai, we get a sense that nature itself takes on a really dark hue, dark color, and that is suggestive of the complications in the psyche of the people who inhabit the landscape of this short story. Now, before we move on to the state of affairs that's there in terms of the other children, I would also like you to remember the other elements of nature in terms of this particular setting, such as the dog, which is in a mournful state, which asks for sympathy, the squirrels, which are lying on the ground as if they are dead in a limp manner, and we have the parrots, which fly about in battle formation, and we have the dry arid grass on the garden floor. So all these elements need to be recalled and kept in mind when you look at the other aspects of nature that keep cropping up as the story progresses, because they are all part of a piece. It's all part of the mood that Desai wants to communicate in this particular fiction, and that mood is a melancholic mood, a pessimistic mood, a bleak mood. So this aspect, the dreariness of life, is communicated through the choice of language used to describe aspects of nature. Now, Ravi is inside the shed, and he's able to hear chanting, singing, and laughing, and he is really struck by that change in mood, and he is sort of horrified as well to realize that the game is apparently over. And how could it be over? Because he's still there in the shed, not found by Raghu, and he is wondering what to do. And then he realizes, and that's a very interesting thing, he realizes that this game is incomplete, even with respect to himself, because if he has to win the game, he has to come out of the shed and go and touch a particular spot in the veranda, say a pillar in the veranda, and say Dan, and that would finish off the game, and that would make Raghu realize that he has lost it. So that particular small effort on his part is still incomplete, and he thinks that very innocently, he thinks that that's why he still hasn't gotten his victory. So that's one thing. The other interesting thing is when he hears all these chanting and singing and laughing, the various noises which somehow suggest happiness on the part of the children, these suggest that the horror or the brutality that is associated with the hide and seek game is apparently over. So the horror associated with hide and seek and the seeker, especially Raghu, is replaced by a kind of communal singing and laughing. So what Ravi does is he gets out of the shed and he runs really quickly, hurriedly, and he touches the den, and his voice breaks with rage and pity at the disgrace of it all, and he felt himself flooded with tears and misery. So all these emotions are rushing through his body as he is dashing towards the veranda. And that's very interesting, because as he moves, he realizes that he is lost, that he has lost this game somehow or the other, and that realization makes him very, very emotional. So even before he communicates the fact with the rest of the group that he has won and that Raghu has lost, his mind has made that realization, and he is immensely hurt and miserable. And the other thing I want to point out here is that the veranda is called as the den in the parlance of this game. And that's very significant as well in terms of the choice of words that the children use to play their game or name different parts of their game. So if you remember, when Raghu spots Manu, when Raghu finds him out, he says that you're dead, and that's the word that he uses, that's the language that he uses. The idea of death is used as to indicate that this boy has lost the game, and now veranda is is called as the den, and den again, it's part of this animal world. Certain predators, carnivorous animals have their homes called as den. So we need to remember this too. So the animal imagery is really is the subtext for some of the names which are part of the games that the children play in this particular short story. So Ravi is heartbroken because he is immensely embarrassed. What causes such such a pain, such stress and such anxiety on the part of Ravi is this fact that he has to wait for a long time inside the shed. So which is why he has been put under immense stress, and he really longs for success, which he thinks is his due. He has worked for it. He has employed a lot of willpower to stay within that really scary, spooky, dark shed which has all these defunct household goods and other creepy crawlies moving about, and he thinks that he deserves success because he has been through a lot of struggle to achieve it, and he makes a final dash towards victory. That final dash towards victory ultimately ends in disappointment for this young boy Ravi. And what does that tell us? How do we interpret this particular episode which is at the heart of the story? Because if you look at the story very closely, you will realize that much of the narrative is spent on describing the various elements within the shed and how Ravi feels about it, and how Ravi imagines other spaces, and how Ravi thinks about his victory in the context of all these older children, and on these older children are represented by Raghu. So the narrative is invested quite a bit in Ravi's emotions within that claustrophobic space. So that is his adventure, that is Ravi's adventure, and that is Ravi's penance, so to speak. And after this penance, he really wants his victory, which he thinks is his due. But he doesn't get that. And what, as I said, well, how do we look at this, episode in the life of Ravi? So we can realize, we can think that this is inexperience that is coming through Ravi, and which is why he's unable to bear that disappointment. So he's a young boy who hasn't experienced the ways of the world. He doesn't know that disappointments are part and parcel of the everyday. So that inexperience is highlighted in the case of Ravi, and that can be extended to, as I just pointed out, to the experience of life itself. And life, to put it in a cliched way, is not a bed of roses. And just because Ravi has struggled really hard to win the competition of the game of hide and seek, doesn't mean that he would get the victory that he deserves. So that experience has been, and this experience has been a painful one for the little boy. So he's out in the open and he sees all these children engaged in another game, and this is a less brutal game. It's a less harsher game than the game of hide and seek, and this is how these faces appear to Ravi. Their faces were pale and triangular in the dusk. The trees and bushes around them stood inky and sepulchral, spilling long shadows across them. They stared, wondering at his reappearance, his passion, his wild animal howling. So this is the image that Ravi gets when he sees this group of children playing, and the description is fantastic in the sense that the faces are described by a geometrical shape. That's very, very interesting. the application of geometrical shape as a metaphor to describe the faces of young children suggests that there's a lack of empathy on the part of these young adults, these children in the home that we are interested in this particular story. Sharp angles suggest a lack of empathy and sympathy. And Desai is really clever in using this particular image to describe the faces of these pale children. They do not have that freshness, that full-blooded face which indicates health and happiness and life itself. So they have pale faces as well. And if you look at the atmosphere, it's very inky and sepulchral, the trees and bushes. Again, and we have the color of dark, black color, dark color, dark blue color, and that suggests death and decay and sepulchral, something to do with sepulchres, burial places. So again, we have a description of this household, this space of home compared to a burial chamber. Again, a very, very eerie metaphor is employed by Desai to talk about this particular home. So even though this is apparently a children's short fiction, the dominant image or the dominant feeling that we get when we do a close reading of this narrative is one of death or moving towards death, the progression towards death. So that is communicated through the choice of words employed in this particular fiction. Now, this passage is also interesting for another reason, the passage that I read out just now. For the first time, we get a passage which directly describes Ravi as very passionate in the sense of his being wild, almost like an animal. So again, we get a connection to or a reminder of the baser instincts of human beings, of small children. So the small children can also have wild aspects. They can howl like an animal. That's one interpretation. The other interpretation is that when one is pushed into a corner, when a vulnerable young person such as Ravi is pushed into a corner, we will realize or get the reaction from that vulnerable person, and that reaction will be wild and one that can be compared to animals howling either in pain or in anger. So this is another interpretation. Further interpretations are also possible, and one such interpretation would be Ravi is beginning to resemble Raghu himself, because wildness and animal imagery are usually applied in the context of Raghu so far in this narrative, and for the first time we get Ravi reacting in a fashion that is perceived as Raghu. So is he mimicking Raghu? That's one question that we can ask. And the other, as I mentioned before, is that wildness is there, submerged in everybody, and when provoked and when angered and when pushed into a corner, that wildness will surface. So the primitive, brutal instinct is just beneath the civilized veneer and will erupt when the time is right. So again, as I mentioned early on, this particular narrative of Desai is highly imagistic, and that imagery communicates a lot of symbolism and thematic and ideological significance in this particular work. So if you look closely at the way Ravi runs from the shed to the veranda, the action itself is very interesting. He pounds across the lawn, he doesn't run. So the pounding is a very, very energetic and fierce activity, one that also communicates the sense of purpose, drive, and perhaps anger too on the part of the person who is running across the lawn in this fashion. So Ravi is pounding across the lawn, and then he charges at the playing children. These children are playing as a group, and they're singing a rhyme. They are making a particular kind of formation, and they are chanting a rhyme. So what Ravi does is he charges at them as a military battalion would charge, or a angry ram would charge at something it has been angered by. So the word charging is again also very, very interesting in this particular regard. So it suggests violence, it suggests power too, it suggests anger as well. So all these aspects are associated with this young boy Ravi for the first time towards the end of the story. So we no longer have this vulnerable, weak, puny little kid. We have a kid which is out for revenge, so to speak. So at this point, his victory is forgotten. That has become superfluous. So all he wants to achieve at this minute in the story is some kind of recognition on the part of these other children. Now, there is a bit of a flashback towards the close of the story, which has been employed by the narrator to tell the readers as to why this game of hide and seek had been given up by these children. So this is the narrative which describes that. So the narrator says, there had been a fight about who was to be it next. It had been so fierce that their mother had emerged from her bath and made them change to another game. Then they had played another and another. So this is the reason behind why that particular game has been abruptly stopped. So the narrator says that there has been a big fight about who is going to be the next seeker. And again, the interesting question is, why haven't they found out about Ravi? So he has been forgotten, and the mother intervenes because the battle between the children has gone so out of hand that somebody has to put an end to it. So the mother intervenes and forces them to change to another game. So they keep on playing game after another game, and which is why Ravi has been left behind by them, literally and symbolically. So the points that we need to note here are the fierce fighting on the part of the children, again suggesting that play is not play. Play is about violence and enforcing of authority and superiority and seniority. So there is no consensus, there is no cordiality among the children there. That's something to be noticed, and this impression that we get that children are not always engaged in a communal game is something that we need to remember, because we have this really cliched understanding that children are immensely pure and good and always have a great time while they are playing. And that they provide a massive contrast to the world of the adults. So that doesn't seem to be the case here. And the intervention of the mother is also very important, because just as the mother intervening here, if you recall the earlier game, the first instance in which this game of hide and seek begins, it is the motherly Meera who intervenes. So the mother figures make some kind of intervention in the fighting that happens in the either in the playground or in society. That could be an extrapolation that we can make. So new games are played, and the first game is obviously forgotten. So with the entry of new activities, the old ones are left behind. Now, what happens after the new set of games is that the children also break mulberries from the trees and eat them, and then they help wash the car, and then they help the gardener. So these are some of the activities that continues after the abrupt stopping of the hide and seek game. And if you notice this second point in the slide, the wash the car, and I put no issue there. The father returns with the car, and the children help clean the car. So it's very significant that that seems to be the only activity in which the children did not make any problems in it. So and the narrative does not suggest anything to tell us that the children were reprimanded, the children were naughty or mischievous while they were engaged in that particular activity. So this is the only activity which is without any problem. So my speculation is that is there no problem because it is the car of the father. The father is the highest authority in the household, and his object is not messed about by the children. So that could be one reasonable speculation to make. And the last point on the slide, there the children help the gardener to water the garden, and it's very interesting and funny and significant to notice that the gardener roars at them, shouts at them, because the implication is that the children have been behaving badly. The children have been having a lot of fun, not following the orders or the guidelines of the gardener, and he swore that he would complain to their parents about the misdemeanors or the behavior of the children. So again, the first point is also very interesting in the sense that mulberries were broken, they weren't plucked, they were broken by the children, and again there is an element of violence and harshness and brutality on the part of the children when they are moving about in the home space. So these are some of the things that we need to keep in mind in terms of our assessment of the behavior of the children in society. Okay, now when Ravi hears all these noises of singing and chanting, I mentioned early on that it's a less horrible noise in the sense that there is no pushing or shoving or kicking, no bearing down on a helpless girl or a boy on the part of Raghu. So we get a sense that the children have become less quarrelsome at twilight. That's one interpretation. They have calmed down. That's one thing. They've calmed down. The other thing that we can reasonably suggest is that the two parents are there, especially the father is there, sitting in a cane chair, and that is what making the children behave with some kind of decorum and normality. So that's the question that we can ask. And again, the cane chair is very interesting because it reminded me of the stick of Raghu, the stick that he uses to beat the walls with, beat the bushes and shrubs. So cane stick, again suggesting the authority figure who is the father, and in his absence it is Raghu. Okay, so we have Ravi confronting the set of children, and he, as I said, as it is mentioned in the narrative, he has charged towards them as a bull would, as a ram would, or as a military battalion would, and then Raghu pushes him back, pushes him aside and says, "Don't be a fool," Raghu said roughly, pushing him aside. And even Meera said, "Stop howling, Ravi. If you want to play, you can stand at the end of the line." And she put him there very firmly. So this is the reaction of the eldest boy, Raghu, and the motherly Meera. So as I said, roughness is a part of Raghu's character. So that's something we can anticipate and expect. And what is interesting is that even Meera, that word even is interesting because Meera is unsympathetic, and she also disciplines Ravi just as Raghu did. and that reminds us of the behavior of the mother early on when he comes out of the shed crying as he dashes towards the den or the veranda. And this is what the mother says to him: stop it, Ravi, don't be a baby, have you hurt yourself? So there is a mixture of concern as well as annoyance. The concern is for the physical harm that Ravi could have had somehow, so that her concern is for that. Her sympathy is not towards his emotional turmoil, and she says, stop being a baby, don't be an emotional wreck, you know. And that's very interesting in the context of the mother figure, and that is why I suggest that there are some parallels between the motherly mirror and the mother figure in this particular household. And as I said, the worry and the anxiety is for his physical well-being. So the physical well-being is really cared about by the mother, and she wants Ravi to grow up, don't be a baby. So being a child is a state which has a lot of incompleteness, which has something that is to be removed or eradicated by that particular being. So she doesn't want Ravi to be a child, don't be a baby, just stop being a baby and grow up and be normal, be disciplined, control your emotions. That's very interesting. Adults do not express emotions at the drop of a hat, whereas a child does, and that instant reaction to the world around a child is a very interesting human phenomenon, which as the baby or as the child grows is suppressed by that growing child. So growing up is associated with the suppressing of the instinctive reactions, and the big question to ask is that good or is that bad, and in what context is that good or bad? So again, the ability or the desire to question that is there on the part of Ravi is also suppressed, and our question should be, is that right, is that good? And so these are the questions that come to our mind if we do a closed analysis of the reactions of the mother figure in this particular story. So Ravi has to stand at the end of the line in this particular game. So that is the direction given by Meera, and she endorses the order, the existing order or the system which is at play in this particular game, and it has a very symbolic significance as well. And what is the symbolic significance? Ravi's place in the game, in the family, in the society is at the end of the line. So there is a hierarchy, and in that hierarchy Ravi is at the bottom, and there are other figures above him at the top of the pyramid, at the top of the pecking order, and these figures, mother figures, endorse this particular setup, and which is very, very important for us to note. So this is the game that they play when Ravi comes out of the shed. It's an interesting game, and a very, very significant rhyme is sung by the children as they play this arrangement game and sing a song. Two pairs of arms reached up and met in an arc. So we have an arc formation made by the children. The children trooped under it again and again in a lugubrious circle, ducking their heads and intoning, singing, "The grass is green, the rose is red, remember me when I'm dead, dead, dead." So this is a nursery rhyme that is sung by the children in India, and they do this intoning while they are going through this arc made by the arms of the children who stand in a particular neat arrangement. And the choice of words employed in this description is very interesting because it suggests mourning, somberness, and the song, the word didi means song, and the song is also very, very tragic. It says, the rose is red, remember me when I'm dead, dead, dead. So the rhyme asks for remembrance. It asks society, it asks the family to remember the dead. And if we put this in the context of the hide and seek game, Ravi, when he was within that shed, he is completely forgotten by the rest of the community of the children. So it is a simple rhyme. This ditty is very, very simple, but it is also profound in the sense of the ideology or the meaning it wants to communicate, and it suggests the importance of remembrance. And the biggest embarrassment for Ravi, the biggest pain for Ravi, the biggest misery for Ravi is the fact that he was forgotten. He has not been remembered, not only by the children but also by the parents too. So that's something we need to make note of. You got to remember that when the parents are sitting in that cane chair in the garden, they do not realize that Ravi is missing, and that is very disturbing in some sense. So, other choice of words that are particularly significant in this context is trooping. If you go back to that narrative, the children trooped under it. Again, the image of soldiers trooping, going in a particular orderly, disciplined fashion is suggested there. So they are a body of soldiers or a group of people who are really subservient. They follow the orders, and they do it in a lugubrious circle, which means they do it in a very, very sad way. So it's not a happy set of faces that we see. We have these pale faces which are looking sad and dismal, dejected. So the metaphor is that of a people or a group of people or a body of soldiers who have been overruled or oppressed by a higher authority. The sense of oppression is very, very clear in this particular set of nursery rhymes. And the arc of the thin arms trembled. So this is the narrative which tells us how the children behaved physically, and the arc of thin arms trembled in the twilight, and the heads were bowed so sadly, and their feet tramped to that melancholy refrain so mournfully, so helplessly, that Ravi could not bear it. So so in this formation, when they are chanting this nursery rhyme, their arms are trembling, shaking, and that tremble could be because of the physical effort that they have to employ to maintain that arc, or it could be because of fear. Why are they afraid? So that's a good question to ask. And the heads were bowed so sadly. So bowing suggesting subservience again. So, and they don't do it willingly, they do it sadly, unhappily. And the melancholic refrain there, dead, 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 is repeated, and it suggests mourning for someone who has passed away unremembered. And there is helplessness, vulnerability, and all these emotions make Ravi not want to be a part of it, not want to hear this rhyme. And this is the first time the entire community of children, the entire category of children are portrayed as weak and helpless before the might of the adult world. So, as I said, all these words, trembled, bowed, sad, mournful, melancholic, tramped, walk in a heavy manner, suggest again dejection, depression, desolation, and inferior positions, more importantly. So, these children represent a community that has been oppressed and suppressed by the powerful, the rich, the wealthy. So, we need to ask all these questions in terms of the context of the children. So, why are they bowing really very sadly? Why are they trembling? It's after all their parents who are sitting there in cane chairs and watching them. So, what is the reason for the mourning? We don't know, but if we extrapolate this particular nursery rhyme and this particular set of children to make some general comments about the society, we can suggest, we can speculate, and we can argue that these children represent symbolically the inferior positions occupied by the weak and the vulnerable and the poor in society. And if we do that, this story becomes really rich in that sense for the implications it has for the various ideological positions in the society. So Ravi is determined to do this. He says he would not follow them. He would not be included in this funeral game. He wanted victory and triumph, not a funeral, but he had been forgotten, left out, and he would not join them now. So Ravi sees this game and he doesn't want to have anything to do with it. He decides that he would not be included in this funeral game. So he considers it to be a really melancholic, tragic game, a game that talks about death and dying and remembrance. All he wanted was victory and triumph, and he didn't get that, and now he doesn't want a funeral song as a laurel for his part that he played in the game. Now, how do we interpret this particular narrative and this particular nursery rhyme that the children chant and play? So games could be seen, especially the games in this story, and could be seen as suggestive of death itself. The games could be a metaphor of death itself. Again, I'm reminded of Raghu's comment that you are dead when he spots Manu, when he seeks Manu. So and this particular nursery rhyme also talks about death and remembrance. So philosophically, it could be comparable to death that is confronting each and everyone in society. And Raghu, in the case of Raghu, instead of laurels, all he gets is this nursery rhyme, bleak nursery rhyme, funeral nursery rhyme as a laurel for his participation in the game of hide and seek. So it's a very, very anticlimactic and sad end or destination for Ravi in this particular story. And Ravi also has more selfish reasons for not joining, and he thinks that he has been forgotten. So why should he kind of return the favor by joining in this particular game with the rest of the children? So he doesn't want to be a part of it too. And the ignominy of being forgotten, how could he face it? He felt his heart go heavy and ache inside him unbearably. He lay down full length on the damp grass, crushing his face into it, no longer crying, silenced by a terrible sense of his insignificance. So up to a certain point in the story, he wanted victory, he wanted recognition for his effort, but later he realizes that all he wants is that people miss him when he's not around. So that ignominy, that embarrassment of being forgotten is the biggest blow that he gets from the rest of the children. So he feels his heart go heavy and it aches inside him unbearably. It's a very, very adult emotion, perhaps, unbearable ache inside one's heart. And what he does is he lays down full length on the grass and he crushes his face against the earth, and he doesn't cry anymore but has become silent. And that silence is very, very important, because that silence tells him that his crying is not going to matter, his crying is not going to make any intervention in the way the society functions. So he becomes silent. So the shame, the ignominy, the word ignominy means public shame or disgrace, and that's what he has met with on the part of these other children. He has been, he feels as if he has been publicly shamed because he has been forgotten, not only by the children as well as by the parents and the adults. And that is the greatest pain. The pain is not about losing to Raghu, the pain is about being forgotten by the entire community. So nobody remembers him when he is dead, so to speak, when he is hidden inside that shed. It's symbolic death for Ravi. So he crushes his face against the earth, and it seems as if he is seeking comfort from the Mother Earth itself. The solace is from this massive mother of all, this landscape, this earth, this globe, this planet. And because he doesn't get any from his own biological mother, who is really annoyed and irritated by the fact that he's crying like a baby when he should behave like an adult. He should have shirked off his childhood nature, and he should have attained adulthood, perhaps way before his time. So, so he seeks comfort from this particular Mother Earth, and as I said, his silence is an indication that he is really helpless, powerless in this particular society, which cherishes and endorses and gives space only for the mighty and the powerful. So, some of the larger themes at play that we can easily pick out through a close reading of Games in Twilight are the oppression of the powerful, the suppression of the weak, and then we have the sufferings of the weak communicated or represented by Manu and Ravi, and the striving for success that the young children desire, such as Manu and Ravi, and that success is against these really powerful people represented by Raghu and other parental figures, and ultimately the inferiors, the weak and the vulnerable realize their insignificance in this particular society. And the other important theme that we need to keep note of is the culpability of mothers. Mothers are culpable in this structural arrangement, because the intervention that they make are really nominal, and ultimately they endorse the status quo, and that is communicated through the motherly Meera as well as through the mother of Ravi. And I want to close this lecture by making a few comments about the style of writing of Anita Desai, and she says that my style of writing is to allow the story to unfold on its own. I try not to structure my work too rigidly. So this is what she says. I don't have a specific structure to work with, a beginning, a middle and an end. She lets the story to unfold, to kind of expand on its own, and that's a very interesting way to describe her writing style, because in this particular fiction too, if you notice, the most important figure, Ravi, comes pretty late into the story. We have a big description of the house, all the children, and then we have Manu who is spotted, and finally comes Ravi. So he is not introduced way ahead, as is the want of much of the writers. So we get the most important figures described at the beginning. So Anita Desai doesn't do that. So Ravi comes late into the picture, and he seems to be at the end of a line, as if he is also narratively apparently insignificant, just as he is literally insignificant in the status quo. So she communicates ideological significance through the narrative that she writes. So that's something that was curious to note. And she says that I try to trace the connection between the characters, and that way a story or plot emerges. And this is also justified in the context of Games at Twilight. She says that the connection between the characters makes the story develop, and as the story develops, we see Raghu's connection with the other children makes or pushes the story to develop to its logical conclusion. So Raghu spots this young boy Manu, and then he goes after Ravi, and the connection between Ravi and Raghu, and how Ravi wants to kind of make a intervention in the circle of larger, bigger children, makes the story develop in a particular manner. So it's almost as if it's been unstructured. It has been not very chiseled to the last detail in the sense of the plot. The connections, the familial connections or the bonds between the characters make the story organically develop and flourish. But the most important thing in this particular work of fiction is the language, the imagistic language that Desai employs. Each and every word is rich in the multiple layers of significance it suggests, and through that image building, through that rich diction, Anita Desai develops a story that kind of indicates that all is not well with the lower orders. Thank you for watching. I'll continue in the next session.